Hello, your favorite red person. I'm officially from Mars. Cheapo webcam, doesn't matter. I haven't driven yet, so it's not that I'm so out of shape that I'm so red from a bit of sim racing. Sim racing never made me sweat. Today, I've always said, you know, four-wheel drive, meh, you gotta be a rear-wheel drive. But recently, even doing some touring car racing, front-wheel drive has its charm. And of course, four-wheel drive is insane in Group B or modern rallying, flying everywhere. But Group B also had rear-wheel drive cars, including this Lancia 037, a gorgeous car. And I was looking for one, and it seems that they go for about 1 million for the road-going version. So let's stick to the sim and find out if rear-wheel drive is better than four-wheel drive. Now, better. Aha, what is better? More faster is more better. Perhaps to you? No, not to me it isn't. Because the excitement of rear-wheel drive can sometimes perhaps be better than the sheer terror and speed and the turbo of the four-wheel drive. So we have rear-wheel drive. Rear weight bias, we are 100 kilos lighter than the four-wheel drive cars I drove last week. But we also have almost 200 horsepower less than we had last week. So a lot less power, bit slippery shape, so top speed isn't that much lower, although fair bit actually. And those rear tires, you know, we might spin. Still using 720 degrees on the steering wheel. Didn't do a lot of practice because my first run is always the best and there's never a restart or a second attempt. It will be slower, but let's see how it is slower, how different it will be. Let's not waste any time, he says after a minute and a half, two. Here we go then. You already feel that there is a danciness involved. See how I got scared already? Because you can easily lose the rear now. Easily, I wouldn't say easily, but definitely possible. Apologies for the supercharger whine, that is definitely whining and annoying. Bit careful with the throttle. Oh, close. On the lock stops. Oh, it's quite messy. There might be a second attempt. Is it easier than four-wheel drive? No. Definitely not. And again, this is not a rally stage. It's too wide. And while there is sort of a graininess to the road surface, big ruts and bumps and stuff don't exist. So what you tend to see is almost a floating sensation sometimes. Because in real life there will be obstacles and big bumps and the road will pull you places, and here it is quite smooth and very wide, and still I will struggle. A lot of the rear-wheel drive Group B cars and rally cars were front-engined, and that gives us the same sort of story as with the Audi, which also had an engine in the front far out in front actually. When you have things like the gearbox in the rear and the engine in the front, it gives the car more inertia, and inertia makes it change direction slower. In the hands of an actual racing driver, that is bad because you cannot change direction as quickly as a mid-engined car, which has all the heavy bits closer together. So this is a mid-engined, rear-wheel drive car. They are quite twitchy. I bet if we do a Ford Escort or something like that, rear-wheel drive car of the 70s, it will be a little more gentle changing direction and a bit more controllable. But downside of a front-engined rear-wheel drive rally car, less weight on the rear tires that are driven, and you need all the weight on those rear tires to get some traction, because obviously when just turning with four wheels, there is really no difference between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and when braking we have four wheels braking, so it's all fine. But when you want to accelerate out of a corner in a straight line up a hill, which sort of pulls the car down, you really notice the lack of those extra wheels being driven. Hello. I didn't see if we killed anybody, let's say we didn't. So this is definitely a worst case. And one of the effects that you get putting the power down is that it's a lot more work, but it's also more, seems to always put the car a little sideways, even in fourth gear. And remember, this is a smooth, it's got micro bumps, but it's a smooth road, so there are no big ruts. What am I doing? I'm chickening out. That upset the balance of the car, so you can easily keep sort of a floaty, constant drift. This is not realistic in that sense, but it's mainly the track surface that is too nice. I'm not complaining. One advantage of the Ford Escort and this car, it has less power, but it also doesn't have a laggy turbo. So pretty much when I press my foot down, I have all the power the car has, all the torque. So that is definitely helpful. There's a lot more oversteer to manage. You can have understeer, and that's just as deadly in rallying as in four-wheel drive, so it helps not to still Scandi flick it a little bit there. But you're playing with fire with a mid-engine twitchy rear-wheel drive rally car. See, over 100 miles an hour. Too late? Is that too late? I think. That's such a steep hairpin, you sort of bogged down. A shame. My immediate thought is I can do better. And my immediate thought is also that compared to the mad four-wheel drive cars, this is more of a dance, and the four-wheel drive cars are more of a fight. Both have their charm. Don't hit it. There is a charm to both of those. Sometimes you just want to fight, and sometimes you want to dance. And he says, never stepped on a dance floor. Metaphorically speaking. So it is a different way of driving, and of course this is a bit slower and has a lot less power, but oh, that's the understeer we don't want, and we also don't want to be at like 3000 revs, then we don't have a lot of engine. Down the gear. Oh, that's not a good line. Goes light here. We feel that by the back stepping out nicely. 1 down, 2 down. I like the style of control of the rear-wheel drive car a bit more, but the fight and the terror that you get with the four-wheel drive cars is very spectacular, so it is not a clear victory driving fun-wise for the rear-wheel drive car. But it is more work, even more steering work. Same tires, so we are comparing it fairly sort of evenly. I think we'll be 2 minutes slower. At least. I'm also using 720 degrees, like I mentioned, which they say the car had 900. But you can see this is a lot of work already. Going wide. And I use 720 in the other car, so that's for comparison's sake. Off camera, this one. By now we would do about 200 in the other cars. Here we are a bit slower, but still 180, 185 kilometers. Pretty good there, I'm happy with that. Careful with the throttle. He says, it's a death understeer. When you get understeer, you get greedy. You have to be careful, not just mashing the power in that case, because the back might come around while you're steering in full understeer, unprepared for a sudden bunch of oversteer. Cheating, inside corner. So here it's very nice, sort of constant little bit of opposite lock. This really is the worst place for a rear-wheel drive car, because not only does it have a traction deficit to the four-wheel drive car, when you go up the hill it's even worse. And despite the grip level still being, I think, fairly high, with almost a G sometimes on a loose surface, so I think grip levels are, if anything, I think we would have survived. See, that is the rear-wheel driveness. It can bite you a bit more than even a mid-engine four-wheel drive car. On the lock stops. Oh, nice. Yeah. anticipated understeer there. So I started unwinding the steering just in time. Wasn't too bad. It's even snappier changing direction than the four-wheel drive Lancia because it's a bit lighter. To concentrate here, cut the track almost. This one tightens. You want to throw it in, but also be aware of the limit that you can. Don't have a four-wheel drive system to drag you out. That is so easy. Oh, that is. Shoot you spin. It's easier to turn it back around, but it was just a bare minimum loss of control there, and there we went. And I can tell you that you can have a crash that lasts about a minute here, so you don't really want to be doing a lot of looping it. Oh, those lock stops. Of course, we don't know the steering lock. Perhaps the front tires could turn more than on the four-wheel drive cars, not having a drive shaft, perhaps limiting the steering angle. But it's around 28 degrees. At least the steering rack is quite quick with only 720 calibrated. Stick to the inside. We want to accelerate out. Yeah, no way. Out quickly, he said. Exactly what. Oh man, you see how that's just, you know, you can see the rear wheel drive just struggling to stop the car sliding down. So all we do when we add power is go sideways. These little concrete poles, they are very well stuck to the ground. I found that out recently. Being rear wheel drive, we can sustain that oversteer far easier mid-corner everywhere. Okay, 15 minutes, 34 seconds. So we did 13 minutes, 45 seconds. It's nearly 2 minutes slower. But let's do that again. See if we can do better. Ah, I know a secret to that. Tie your shoelaces. Yep. Oh yeah. You want those shoes to be tight. And I'm showing a bit of lag here. I know I should do an OnlyFans channel. That will be guaranteed millionaire. Sweaty hairy man. 007. Sim racing content. So, right, okay. Tight shoelaces, I can recommend that. That's definitely a minute. So after the first run, I think the most important thing that I mentioned, I still agree with, four-wheel drive Group B is a fight. Rear-wheel drive rallying Group B is more of a dance. There's an OnlyFans way of doing those things, I think, but hey, let's see if we can. Ooh, can we break 14? No, 14:59. Half a minute is too much, although we did loop it. Let's see what happens if we try harder, and that safety net that we don't have with four-wheel drive, like we have no four-wheel drive, so the chance of looping it, spinning it, it's lighter, change the direction quicker. So I predict, I have no basis, no past knowledge to make this statement. I predict we might see an error or two. So here we go. Definitely not slower, I think. Engine, please work, yes. Bit too late with the oversteer. There's no oversteer at all, man, terrible. Sending it into sideways. Oh, that was so close to the barrier and also to the limit of opposite lock. And we were 2 or 3 minutes in. So, place your bets on the crashes I will have. Oh, yes, there's one. I think that you would have survived that. That's easy. Remember, Italian concrete build quality. Oh man, ow, that's not good. I guess my ability as a dancer is showing. Oh, again, I'm hitting the inside. Oh man, I'm doing quite a sloppy job. There, I'm on the lock stops. You just lose the speed. You don't want to be super sideways. You want the accelerating force from the tires to point forward, not sideways. But still, let's see if we can at least be quicker. Perhaps regain ourselves a little bit. Almost come to a complete standstill. Oh, very steep here again. It's steep everywhere. I keep saying it's steep. By now you know this is not the Netherlands. Pikes Peak for grown-ups. Oh. And I'm not a grown-up, so that's why I don't belong here. It's also not Pikes Peak for grown-ups. Pikes Peak is fairly scary too, although sadly no longer. Oh yeah, this is nice. That's a dance. I say that's a dance. And here we keep. Oh, it backed out just a little bit. I keep repeating, but this surface is too smooth. No ruts, no big bumps. So that's why I can glide smoothly. You know, you hear and you feel a bit of the texture of the road. It's quite bumpy on a small level, but no big ones. The boulders, though, they are big. Oof. Limiting that slip angle a little bit is quicker. Before you know it, you're 25 degrees sideways. Looks spectacular, but you want to kind of see if you can limit it. But While our rear-wheel drive gives us more ability to go sideways when we want than the four-wheel drive, especially the Audi, which really didn't want to go back to oversteer mid-corner if you didn't set it up into the corner with oversteer. You still don't want to it's easier to invite the oversteer when you're too harsh and rough and not smooth, and then you can have your oversteer everywhere. You're also losing speed, so so the neater you drive, looping it, almost, damn, still not. I want to get that one right. So the neater you are, the quicker you are, but the more at risk you are of losing the oversteer and getting into plummeting understeer. Fast section, scary section. Early turn, no, that I meant to turn in early, but I didn't. The road drops away just a little bit and then you approach very heavy rocks. Is this too late? Is this too late? I think it is just about. We bogged down the first time, so I'm going down the second. Almost looping it again. You don't loop it that easily, but when you get close, you just lose a lot of speed. Almost come to a standstill. Down a gear, stick to the inside. Thing goes light a little on the X. Oh! I saw my life flash in front of me there. Remember what I said about rear-wheel drive being dancing, four-wheel drive being a fight? Nope, this is a fight. It's on, motherfucker. I'm losing. I'm not a great fighter, not a great dancer. It's all becoming apparent. It just took a very scary moment with my life flashing in front of my eyes to realize I'm neither a dancer nor a fighter. Low speed, bit of understeer. Still 5 seconds up. Off camber. I just cannot take any risk here, he says. Yeah, forget the 14 minutes. Very close to the edge. Not as good as the first attempt. Yes, we have some understeer again. Oh boy. Balancing the throttle is more important than you might think. You don't want to just mash it everywhere. Because how much wheel spin you get gives the tire a certain cornering grip, so it's kind of just like it is on tarmac. The more wheel spin, the less cornering grip. So you want to balance the throttle a little bit to avoid getting too big oversteers out of the slow corners. The lock stops, it always feels scary. Downshift, boot the throttle, get it neutral. All the lock stops again, that's both a very nice and a very scary feeling. As you sort of pop up over the hill there, the car keeps its momentum. You want to be careful. On the lock stops, then it snaps back. You have to be on your toes. I think it would do this less abruptly. Ooh, close to the wall. If it was a Ford Escort with a front engine. The way it snaps back out of a big oversteer, gotta be super awake. I just had a decaf. I think my problem is becoming apparent. Ooh, close. Quite a long corner. Keep oh yes, we just nudged, but not too bad. See how quickly it can almost not keep up with the steering lock. It also feels a lot nicer in the force feedback because there is no driving force going through those front tires. And sometimes when you hit a bump or something, and the car accelerates on that bump with the outside of the tire, you would get a big pull on the steering wheel for a four-wheel drive. This one feels very much better. So the steering feedback is really nice and it helps you a lot with catching the opposite lock. Last turn, we've made a mess of it again. Well, roughly halfway there, 15 seconds quicker, 15 minutes, 18 seconds and a little bit. Are you happy with that? Thanks for watching, bye bye. I will, however, do another attempt. Trying even harder. So this will either be brilliant or it will be over after 4 minutes, if I'm lucky. 1.5 minutes. What's the first turn? 30 seconds. It is so addictive to do this, and just like with the four-wheel drive cars, me, the driver is the weak link. There's always sloppiness. Some people say learn how to left foot brake. I have never really done it, and then it would sort of confuse myself. So especially with the Audi, for example, that would help with some of the understeer. Not sure how much it would matter in a car like this, but there's always something to learn, and you're always just way off the pace, which makes it interesting. However, I wasn't perfect, and you know me, I'm always perfect, so something's wrong, we gotta set that right, do another attempt. There was sarcasm in there. One more attempt at the dance that is actually a fight, as we find out. Sloppy again. Sideways exit, not going forward, going sideways. That's almost a reverse entry. I'm staying quite calm considering how sideways that was. Very close to the very well secured concrete poles. And we even get understeer here, oh boy. Not sure if this is quicker. I think I was too harsh there, just steering into the corner, not waiting for the load transfer. Very addictive though. Oh, the edge. What a intense way to spend an afternoon. Lock stop scrap. Nice. That's one big opposite lock corner. Nice. Yes, this is an overcooked corner. You don't want to be too side, but I think this is quicker there. Stops. Nice, finally doing this corner. I braked a little earlier, but that made my exit a lot better. Out of shape. Not talking too much. Just another bogged down crap. Glad I didn't loop it, but we lost a bit of speed going super sideways. Oh, no dancing here, just fighting. Again understeer. Four seconds down. Better. That's better too. Too fast? Is that too fast? We'll say no. That's perfect. Balancing the throttle more than the first run is better. Careful, nearly died here twice. He says, giving it more throttle than ever. Sadly not making this one nicely. Or this one, come on man, come on, come on. Don't throw it away. On the lock stops again. You pop up on that, over that crest. Very hard to not keep sliding. Down the gear. Here, maximum angle. Bit of third gear understeer. Hard work. Ish. Completely missing the inside of the corner. I don't know why I'm making a mess of it now so near the top. Another 6 seconds, 15 minutes, 12 seconds, 9:09. Whew. This is the longest 15-minute video you will see on YouTube. Wow. Conclusions. My brain has melted, give me a second. This is quite hard. Imagine a rally stage that's half as wide, got ruts and more undulations and bumps, where that upset that beautiful consistent balance that we have with the road surface being so relatively flat. Like it does that, but it doesn't do that. And on the width of the track there are no little ruts and things to get stuck behind. So in that way, it's not 12th time I say that, not a rally stage, but even then with the width of the track you just push harder, and it is a little more difficult than a four-wheel drive cars in a certain way, but you do go a bit slower. It's just different. There is more neutral and oversteer everywhere, but there's a limit to it. And being smooth, avoiding understeer without going super oversteer, it's quite a challenge. And as ever, you know, it's a quickly made car with some rough specs. The tire model we have seems to work fine for what little information I have for how tires work on dirt, but there's a lot of stuff in this sim that isn't there. But it's a crude, very fun way to look at Group B cars. So we had the Audi, we had the Lancia Delta S4, and now the whiny boy, and me, also a whiny boy. I hope you enjoyed this, the third attempt. Well, if we stitch together the best things of the three three attempts, I think we would be 15:05, something like that. So a real good driver would probably be able to do the 14. Let me just I got Walter on speed dial, and I'll ask him to have a go. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. It's the red balance on my little camera, right? It's not me being sweaty.